This next interview, testimonial interview from a client of mine, James. He, it's very emotionally packed, and I wanted to create this introduction video part here to to set this thing up a little bit more. I initially said no to him because he's actually going to one of the most toughest part of his life. His wife is asking for a separation, right? And smoking was not the only vice he had. And he had so many other crutches. He's been suffering from anxiety and depression for a long time. He wanted to do this video because it had such a powerful impact on him. Now, I've decided not to put the video part, but just the audio part, just for privacy's sake. I thought that'd be the best thing to do. But he's very candid, and you're going to hear him get also emotional. Okay? He's extremely smart. He's logical. He's a smart guy. But, you know, when bad things happen, oh my God, right? You can't help it but feel emotional about it. And he was in such a bad place that, like, initially I said no to him, and then you know what? Let's go. And the premise was, what if your wife actually just goes and divorce? Do you still want to stop smoking? And the answer for him was yes. Do you understand? So with that type of mindset, like, it doesn't matter, come hell or high water, the smoking needs to stop. Now, I did not really address his depression and anxiety fully, because this is an ever evolving situation that's going on, right? There's just still, it's still free falling. So, but he found tremendous value from it. And I know you're going to get so much value from this interview, right? And all right, here we go. Hi, so this is a interview with a phenomenal client of mine, and James was really nice to come across on Zoom here to share his experience working with me. I do want to see people. I have so many clients that I've helped; they feel reluctant to come on, but James really, you know, I really thank you, James, for going out of your way to do this interview, because there's so many people's life you are going to touch. You're going to give them hope, and I'm just going to just take it from there. Now, so go ahead, James. You can start off with saying anything you want to say.
Well, happy to have the opportunity to, in part, repay you for the service that you've done for me. Do you want me just to kind of tell my narrative? Is that?
Yes. By all means, yeah. You can use that. Yeah.
Fair enough. So I got George's name from my family physician, who did not know George. It was a friend of a friend kind of a thing. And I've been a smoker off and on for 50 years. Quit at one point for about 10 years when my kids were born, many years ago. And it just kind of had me by the grips. What prompted my reaching out to George was my wife of 15 years told me that she wanted to separate. And one of the reasons was because she found my smoking to be objectionable, and had raised it several times. I failed to respond to that. And that, combined with, you know, some drinking and some other things, she just had enough. So I reached out to George and realized that this is something that I had to get under control. What was interesting was that at the time, because I was going through this incredibly emotional roller coaster, George was actually reluctant to take me on as a client at that time. He felt that my headspace wasn't in a good place, and that it would be very difficult for us to have a successful session, or sessions, as the case may be. I have never experienced anything like George. His calming, soothing attention was able to calm me down and reach my big brain, as he likes to say, so that I could successfully realize that this was a habit that I had developed over time, that it was not beneficial to me in any way, shape, or form. I've seen all the videos and stuff in the past, but for some reason, the material that George presented to me, I'll never forget the sheep's lung, really sort of registered. And then his work with me to understand, and I'll refer to the painting behind him, which he does often. There's a subconscious part that's sort of below the surface, and that's what you really have to kind of get to and understand. So George provided the avenue for me to be able to do that. I've quit smoking. The benefits to that are that I personally feel better. I don't wake up coughing every morning. I don't smell like cigarette smoke. I don't have to hide from people when I go out for smoke, to smoke or what have you, and then figure out what am I going to do with the cigarette butt, because I don't want to leave that in the yard or wherever. And that sounds stupid, but it's actually kind of important, just to not have the filthiness associated with the habit. I did just tell George. He asked me how I was doing, because our sessions were just about a month ago. I had a very weak moment earlier this week, and I had a cigarette. I was at a bar with some people, and I'm still on a roller coaster. And as I had the cigarette, I realized that it wasn't doing anything constructive for me. It was invalidating the promise that I had made to myself. And as I extinguished it in the ashtray, I looked at it and realized how filthy and just disgusting it was to have the ash and the smoke as a result of it. And I think, if anything, that weak moment sort of has furthered my commitment to be a non-smoker and be committed to being a non-smoker for the rest of my life. That's a theme that George has hammered home. And I think that's a really important one. So, I really take my hat off to George, because, as I said, he was able to help me get my emotions back under control for the most part. Having a little trouble right now, sorry.
It's okay, man.
But his techniques really empowered me to effect change, not only in terms of the smoking, but in terms of dealing with the disappointment and stress of the situation that I'm going through right now. There are always going to be moments when it gets the better of you, but George has given me the techniques and the power to be able to kind of shove that back into the box when I need to. And I will be, forever grateful for that. His explanation of the iceberg, our little brain and our big brain, has provided me with a great deal of understanding as to my motivations and being able to kind of rationalize what's happening. My relationship with him goes way beyond the smoking cessation. And I have to say, he is the best therapist, bar none, that I've ever had the pleasure to know.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And
From my heart, George.
No, I know. It's heartfelt. And there's more stuff that's going to come your way. Good stuff is going to come in, and I'm going to reach out to you about that later on after this. Can I ask you this? How is this uniquely? Because we were not only hitting on the smoking, but also on the anxiety and on the other thing. How is that different from regular therapy, mainstream therapy?
Yeah, I mean, specifically, the times that I've been with a therapist, a traditional therapist, including now, you talk a lot about your feelings and what's going on around you, and they offer opinions or interpret, or, that type of thing. It's sort of a dialogue. You got in my head. You taught me techniques, breathing techniques to relax, to help me calm myself down. And that's why I say you actually have empowered me. I don't find that traditional therapy is terribly empowering. You come away with some good ideas, and, we all know that, there are things that we can't control, and we need to understand that we can't control them. That doesn't help. It doesn't make the anxiety or the disappointment go away.
Yeah.
And yours doesn't make it go away, but it allows me to get my body collected enough that it is no longer overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing with the smoking, to tell you the truth, in similar ways, right? Instead of letting that take over, I can sort of fight back.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, what James is going through is this is still an active scene there. It's still in motion. So there's still a lot of moving parts still going on, and this is hard for him.
Yeah, the movers come Monday. I'm out of the house. So
okay. James, you just you opening up and being vulnerable. I promise you, my friend, you are going to help so many people's lives. You are going to save some people's lives and give them some type of hope. And for that, I really, from the bottom of my heart to the bottom of my toes, I'm thanking you for it.
No, I'm happy to do it, and I'm sorry that I got a little weepy, but
it's okay. It's all good. It's
a very vulnerable spot.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much, James.
My pleasure.
We'll talk in a bit.
Okay. I'll see you soon. Thanks, George.